weeks ago, we would have spoken to PTSC. This morning, we spoke to the Taxi Drivers Network. And now we're going to be speaking with the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association President Linus Phillip, just about how the pandemic has affected travel, not only for them as drivers, but even who will come into their vehicles. Are people afraid? You just never know. Good morning to you, Mr. Linus Phillip.
Good morning to you, Natalie. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to all Maxi Taxi operators and comrades out there.
Thank you so much for joining us. So talk to us. We spoke to the Taxi Drivers Network, Taxi Association Network this morning, and they, of course, have had some routes that have raised fares by some nice figures as well. And they're saying that things are so difficult with them. Why haven't the Maxi Taxi Association, well, Route 2, raised its fares?
Well, to be honest with you, they are not lying. They are speaking the truth. It has been hard. We are trying to hold on. As you say, as the government saying, we are all in this thing together, and we are trying to hold on. But the discussion about fare increase has been there, to be honest with you, with the operators. Some of them are clamoring for it because it's bad. It's really bad.
Right. So if some of them are clamoring for the fare increase, why is it that, you know, the Taxi Association has not gotten to that point as yet? What are the sticking factors?
Well, as an association over the years, we try to be a responsible association. We do hear our members, right? And we also do look at what is fair for the traveling public also, right? So in that case, the discussion is there, right? If it increase, what that increase would look like, how would it be structured, and things like that.
All right, Mr. Phillip, we don't seem to have the best connection. For me, I am hearing you, but it keeps going in and out. It seems to be some connectivity issue. Hopefully it won't persist throughout the interview because it makes it difficult to listen. But you said the discussion is there, but you know, you've held on. Is it consideration for the fact that, you know, the traveling public, they haven't gotten any increase in salaries. They're still working with the same bottom line, regardless of the pandemic. What's the reason? Is that the reason why, you know, we haven't seen fare increases from the Maxi Taxi Association?
Well, Natalie, to tell you the truth, this pandemic, it's affecting the whole of Trinidad, the whole world, in fact. And the harsh reality of it is that after the pandemic, we need to have a transportation sector, right? All of us might not be there. That's the reality. However, you cannot let it grind into the ground because after the pandemic, you're not going to have one. The increases, yes, some people find, I can't talk for the taxi, but for the Maxis, if there's any increase, it's not about profit. It's about coming out on the other side. You need to keep the transportation sector going. So after the pandemic, we will have one, right?
And when you say a transportation sector, what do you mean?
Well, you're looking at Maxi Taxis, right? Yes, I am Maxi Taxi. I could speak for Maxi Taxis, right? If you basically don't talk about these things or look at how it affected you and you just leave it like that, it could grind the whole industry into the ground. In the sense that guys going to lose their Maxi, they can't maintain it, the whole system is going to go down. And if that happens and you come out of the pandemic, what are you going to have after that, right? You're not going to have the transportation, and you need it. At the end of the day, people are losing their lives, people are losing their business. Not everybody is going to survive this, right? And even if the Maxi Taxi make a moderate increase in fare, all of the Maxi Taxi drivers, sad to say, might not come out on the other side of it. You understand it? Because some people have very high installment and some have moderate, some have none.
Yeah, but you still haven't explained to me what this transport sector will be about. What are your thought processes about what a transport sector is supposed to look like?
Well, that's a whole, if you get into that, I don't think your program will foresee, have time for me to get in on what the whole transportation sector should look like, right? This is a conversation that we have been trying to have with the government for years. Transportation policy and looking at transportation in the future and not going doing transportation on VAPs on a day-to-day basis, right? You're supposed to try to plan ahead of your transportation, ahead of development. And it's something we don't do in Trinidad, right? But if you look at government planning for housing sector and housing schemes, and look at the latest one they had, right? When you look at Urupu, they have a big, massive housing area there, and you don't even have a taxi stand, right? They never, they never came to us and say, we are developing this area. Transportation would be like this area. How do you transportation for the people who are going to live there? So then,
Mr. Linus, we're still having some connectivity issues, at least from what I'm hearing from you. I keep getting bits and pieces of the word, but not complete sentences. So it's making it very difficult for me to figure out, what you're trying to say. As I said, let's just hope.
I'm getting you loud and clear, so I don't know what the problem is.
Well, let's hope that the audience is getting you loud and clear, because that's what's most important. But let's talk about how the, curfew has impacted the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association. What have been the pitfalls or benefits even of the curfew for the association?
Well, the curfew really gave you a further decline, maybe in income, right? Because you have guys who work in the night. Now they are forced to work in the day. So whatever transportation, whatever passengers are there in the day now have to, as we would say, cut further, share up further, right? So it's going to give you a decline in your revenue stream. You look at Maxi taxi drivers who have to wait 5 hours to get one trip. They're going from making like 4 to 5 trips a day down to 1.5, right? And in making that 1.5 trip, you're down to 50%, right? You're down to 50%. So that is the problem right now.
Yeah.
We have a massive loss in income, I would say anywhere around 60%, 65%. No.
What about applying for passes as essential workers? How does that work? Can it work for the Maxi taxis?
I did speak to the minister about the passes for Maxi taxis, and they told me that it would not be done in that way. Yes, we are essential service, but when you look at it, you have about 60,000 taxis. You have 5,000 Maxis. If you give all of them passes and people decide to come on the road, then via SOE. Now, we are transport providers, right? We provide a service to the public. And if the government put a SOE in place, we have to abide by it too. The government say that we can provide that service between 5 a.m. and 9 in the night. So we do that. It's not our responsibility, right? And I'm going to say this again. I want to say it to the Maxi taxi driver, and even to the taxi driver. It's not our responsibility for the frontline workers. They work for the government, and the government put the SOE in place. So the government's supposed to make arrangement for them to get to work. If it is that they have to hire Maxis or hire taxis and give them passes, they should do that, right? So, and put the transportation in place. We are here to provide this service. And if you tell us that this is the time you can provide this service, this is the time we're going to provide that service, right?
But how are the Maxi taxi drivers responding to that, though? Aren't there people who really want to go out before 5 a.m.?
There are drivers who come out before. We have drivers, we have a 24-hour service, right? So we have drivers who are willing to come out, right? So it's not, as I say, we provide the service and we provide that service for 24 hours. So if the government wants us to provide that service for the traveling public and for the essential workers, they have to put the mechanism in place for us to do that. We cannot break the curfew and come out saying that we're carrying essential workers. No, that is not the way it operates. Right?
And it would defeat the purpose too, to give 60,000 drivers the passes to be on the road.
Exactly. So that's the way I look at it, and I think that's the way I think it should be done, right? So the whole thing about providing transportation for essential workers falls back on the government, right?
Yeah.
They have to put the mechanism in place. They have to see how it's supposed to be done. So if the frontline workers are not getting transportation, they should come out and say, right? They should come out and say, we have all sort of social media and news and things. Come out and say if you're not getting transportation, or tell it to your bosses. Right?
Right.
Let them pick it up with the government and let them put a process in place for you to get that transportation.
So for those maxi taxi drivers, Mr. Linus, who are coming out, have we had any maxi taxi drivers who've been charged for breaking the curfew?
Well, we had an incident last week Wednesday where a lot of drivers was arrested for breaking the curfew. Some of them have been charged, right, for breaking the curfew. And our thing to the drivers, what we are saying to the drivers is do not come out before 5 o'clock.
Can't hear you. You have to repeat that.
Do not come out before 5 o'clock, and don't stay out after 9 o'clock, right? That's the bottom line, right? So I hope the drivers and them are hearing it and adhering to it.
Right. And when they get charged, don't you all lose points off your license as you know, public carriers of passengers?
Well, under this pandemic, or for if they get charged for breaking the curfew, I don't think there's points in place for that, right? The point system. I'm not sure if I could be wrong, but as far as I look at it, is that the point system, how much points you're going to get for the different charges, and there are not a point system charge for.
All right, Mr. Philip, as I said, this has been kind of difficult. I keep losing you.
Going on cover.
Hopefully, yes, definitely. You know, I heard point system and then I heard nothing after that. So I think I'm going to wrap a little bit early, but hopefully next conversation we can have, you know, it will be better in terms of the connectivity. But you said discussions on the card for fare increase, but as of now, the Maxi Taxi, the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association has not increased its fares.
No, we have no increase our fares, and the discussion is there. When a decision is made, the public sure is going to get that information.
All right, Mr. Linus Philip, keep safe. Thank you for transporting us, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're most welcome, Linus Philip. They're president of the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association, and he's saying all of us are in this together, so no fare increases. And for you Maxi Taxi drivers, don't break the curfew, because it's almost impossible for the government to give 60,000 plus drivers, you know, passes. It would defeat the purpose of the SOE. So work within the 5 to 9 hours stipulated. We take a break and we'll be back with you.